So let's say you have a project and you don't have your internal team to work on it. You shop around and some seem really inexpensive and some seem super expensive. Is one guy gouging you? Is the other guy even qualified to work on your project? Where's the happy medium? Should I hire a developer, an agency, something else? Where do you even begin pricing out your projects? Well, my name is Daniel Hindi, and today I'm going to give you 5 techniques on how to best shop around your project. Before we continue, make sure you like and subscribe so you stay up to date with our latest content. So let's say you have an app project that you want to work on, and you don't have an internal team of developers to work on it for you. So you shop around and you're not sure, should I just go to Upwork and find a developer and just send it off to them? Should I look for an agency? They're more expensive. Are they even worth the cost? Should I look for a partner or a potential solution, pre-existing solution that I can work with? Where's the right fit for me? Now, it's extremely important to understand that when you go for a developer, that's all you're getting. So if you were going to Upwork and you find a developer, is that an iOS developer? Is that an Android developer? Do we need anything else besides a developer? Generally speaking, you need a designer to design out your app, and you need a QA to test that your app is working. And whether it's you or somebody else, somebody needs to project manage them. Make sure that they're hitting their deadlines. So at the end, you sort of need a team. And if you don't have that team, you're going to feel the quality of execution and the quality of the product suffer. So if you just go get a developer, that's not a fault for the developer. He's just not a designer. He's not a quality assurance engineer. They just don't do that. If you're building your house and you only get a painter and you're upset why the kitchen was not built in the best way, well, you just got a painter. You didn't get the carpenter in there. So it's extremely important to understand that your project has multiple dimensions and each dimension needs to be satisfied. So that brings us to agencies. Now, agencies should give you a comprehensive team, from developers to QA to designers and even a PM. However, they're in the business of selling you man hours, just time, and they're going to give you billable hours, and they will do exactly what you tell them to do. However, they may not challenge you in the same way a partner will. Now, a partner is sometimes looks like an agency, but they bring in more consultancy into the mix, where an agency is generally more like a contractor, a partner is more like a consultant. They'll come in and they'll challenge your business model. They'll give you suggestions on how to do things better, even if it's less work for them. They are vested in a long-term relationship with you so that your company can grow, so that your relationship with them lasts longer. Now, that is fundamentally what you're looking for. You're trying to find, whether it's from a developer, agency, or a partner, you're trying to find anybody you have access to be more of a consultant with you. So I've been on both sides of this equation. Early on in my career, I was shopping around for developers to start working on some of the projects that I've had. And right now, I have customers coming to my businesses like BuildFire asking me to develop their mobile application, and I need to justify my own value. Now, the truth of the matter is the common mistake that everybody makes is they just look at dollar amount. I know that sounds difficult, and I know that's the most important thing that people look at is the dollar amount, because that's the most tangible or the only metric you have to measure between companies. So let's say you had 2 vehicles. One vehicle is priced at $5,000 and another vehicle is priced at $50,000. Which one is the right vehicle for you? Well, one car may take you 6 months, a year, and it'll break down. Well, if that's all you need, that's fine. If you just needed a beater car for a year, that may be just fine. The $50,000 car is overkill. If you go to the $50,000 car and you realize, well, this is a hybrid car or a fully electric car, I'm actually going to save on my gas and maintenance an enormous amount of time, and the opportunity cost for every time that old car broke down and now I can't get to work, I'm missing opportunities. That $50,000 car at the end may actually save you money on the long run. So I'm not saying this is right or wrong. I'm saying you need to assess every situation based on the needs you have, and every situation is different, which brings me to point number 1. Make sure when you receive a quote that it's broken down line item by line item. Now, it doesn't have to be super detailed, but it needs to explain how they got to that price. Now, if I ask somebody for a project and they say it's $100,000, really? Very round number, $100,000 exactly, not $97,000, not $102,000, exactly $100,000. I'd like to know how you got there. So the idea is make them justify their price to you. And if they can't justify it, then it could be just shooting from the hip, seeing what sticks. They're trying to price anchor you. So make sure that they can justify it, but you need to be fair. If you're not fair with the justification of the price, then it's going to be difficult for you to find the right value, the right solution at the end. So what do I mean? Let's say you ask me to create an omelet. Now, when creating this omelet, you have my time spent. There is the pan that I need to fry it on. You have the oven or the stove, some oil, and a couple of eggs. So while I'm making this egg and I'm making this omelet for you, if you ask me to add bacon to it, the incremental cost of adding that bacon is very minimal. There is some cost to it, obviously. There's the price of the good, the additional labor being put in, but incrementally nothing compared to the entire piece. And then if you said, oh, well, can I have cheese with that? Then I can also add cheese to it, and it's fine. At every incremental step, there was additional cost incurred, but it was very minimal. However, if you ask me, I just want 2 eggs alone, bacon alone, and a grilled cheese alone. And each one of those projects, there's the setup time of me getting set up, the pan, the oven, and the stove for every single one individually. So you can't just say, okay, well, it looks like this was only $2 more, this was $2 more, and this was $10, just give me these two. That's not how it works. There is a certain amount of setup time that you will incur, and then everything above that is incremental. So you want to be fair to the partner you're talking to, the agency or the developer, that when they break it down to you in an a la carte fashion, that you understand the incremental cost of adding to an existing project versus treating every one of those features as a separate project, just to be fair to the other side. Now, the other thing you need to think about is scale. So if I ask someone to make me an omelet for me, my wife, and 2 kids, they're factoring in, okay, well, I have everything out. Let me add a few more eggs, a little bit more bacon, a little bit more cheese, and I can feed all 4 people. Now, when you also ask them at scale, what if I said it's 2 families? Well, I have 4 burners on the stove. I can probably have four pans running. I can feed 1 to 4 families, no problem. What if there were 10 families? Well, I could either start giving people out food as it comes along. And, some people's food may get cold, some may be hot, but I only have these 4 burners. What if there were 1,000 families? What if there were 10,000 families? You could see logistically, at scale, you have different problems. You're not talking about now how many eggs, how many pans are going. You have one person that can't manage all of them at the same time. You have your customers that some are waiting for features and some are not. You have a backlog of orders coming in. Logistically, it's a completely different problem. So when you're proposed a solution from your developers, from your agencies, from your partners, make sure it fits the context at scale of what you're looking for. Now, you don't want a hypothetical scale. You want to fix tomorrow's problems tomorrow. However, if you aim small, you want to make sure that you're not going to outgrow your project in the first months of your project or the first few months of your launch. You want to make sure that the project that you have has a shelf life that is going to last you long enough so that you can reap the benefits of it and reinvest at scale. Which brings me to point number 2. Make sure you compare your quotes side by side, item by item. Again, you want to compare apples to apples. If you're looking at a quote that doesn't scale with your business, that's something to be factored in. If you're looking at ancillary services that are being added in, so going back to our app development example, you're looking at hosting costs to host all your backend data, push notification servers, analytics servers, user notifications, user authentication, and all these ancillary services that are added on top of that may not be involved in your first quote. Remember, when you're talking to a developer or an agency, they have the tendency to quote out only what you asked for, not what you need. And technically, they're not at fault because what you asked for is what they quoted. But once you're neck deep in, what are you going to do? Back away from your project? You're going to keep on investing. So this is where, again, looking for a partner is going to help you find what you're missing. Technique number 3, make sure you're very methodical on how you compare your line items together. So you receive these quotes, you had them break them down line item by line item, you're comparing that they're equal, and now what you want to do is put weighted values on every feature that's critical to your business so that you're more data-driven with your process, with your decision-making versus emotionally driven because the salesman that you talk to may have been a little bit more charismatic than the other. You want to look at your business and what matters most, and you compare them. And you can make them as simple as 0 to 5 for longevity, 0 to 5 to time to market, 0 to 5 in terms of number of features. But you need some kind of way to have weighted values to everything that matters to you with the launch of your project. Only then can you be more data-driven with your decisions and not just looking at the final dollar amount. Because again, that final dollar amount may cost you more at the very end if it's undercutting your entire business. Technique number 4. Make sure you ask yourself, am I buying a product or am I buying a solution? A product generally is some widget that you're purchasing, whether it's software or something physical. And when you purchase it, you're looking at the cost of the item plus some margin. Now that works if that's the size of your problem. Now with larger problems that exist in companies, you're not looking necessarily for a product to solve your problem, you're looking for a solution. Again, the analogy of having a consultant versus a contractor. Your consultant will evolve with the evolving problem. However, for your business owners out there, you really need to think and strategize for the next 6 months, year, maybe even 2 years on what you're doing with your investment. So these problems are hard to anticipate at the time of inception. So if you have a partner that can evolve with the evolving market, with evolving problems, then they can strategize on what's your MVP, your minimum viable product. What is a strategy to go to market? Maybe we cut back a little bit on the features and go to market sooner. Maybe going to market, you need to wait another 3, 4, 5 months. And so you have the opportunity to grow the feature set in your project. Maybe you need to reshape the feature set based on the growing needs in the market. But the idea is you're trying to look for a solution, and that solution really helps when it comes with a consultant that can evolve with the evolving problems of the market. Technique number 5, make sure you challenge the quote. So when you're talking to these agencies, when you're talking to a developer or a partner, whoever they may be, make sure you challenge them. Ask them, if I had in a year down the line another $100,000, $200,000 to invest, what would you do different? And if they start talking to you to say, yeah, this server actually doesn't have any security, it would be good if we started securing it, maybe encrypting the data that's on it, maybe we scale up your servers so that you can anticipate more than a few thousand users. And so as they're discovering this, because now again, their appetite has grown, they said, okay, maybe there's more money in a year, they may uncover all the weaknesses in the quote that they gave you. So listen in carefully on what they're saying. Are they adding additional features, or are they covering for some weaknesses that they baked into your quote? The other side of that is immediately after say, great, I love the quote, everything looks good, I just don't have that kind of money. If you were to cut 3 things from the quote you gave me, what would you cut? So now you're asking them to reevaluate the quote that they gave you. Is there any fat there? Is this the mission critical product for us to go to market? Is it the minimum viable product? Again, you always need to think MVP when you're looking at any iteration of your project, whether it's the first or the last. Always think, what is mission critical? If right off the bat they come up with 3, 4 things that they can cut out, no, there's probably a lot of fat in that quote. If they come back and say, oh, maybe I can change one thing, modify something to make it easier, hard code one feature that was dynamic before, then you know there really isn't a whole lot of fat. So you challenge them both ways. If you say, if I have more money, and you see whether greed comes out or the skeletons start coming out of the closet, it helps you assess. And then when you hit them afterwards to say, well, if I don't have this budget, what are 3 things you would remove? Then you could see also how much fat is in the existing quote. And that'll help you better assess what kind of quote you're getting. And now you're equipped with a lot more tools and metrics on how to make your decision on which solution works best for you without just looking at the dollar amount and the final cost. I hope this helps, and good luck with your next solution. I hope you enjoyed that video. If there's a topic you'd like me to talk about, feel free to contact me on any one of these links below. If you'd like me to help on one of your projects, feel free to contact me as well.